Yo, yo, yo. Surprise. I'm back. Welcome to another edition of The Last Word. It's your boy J Nev with a little special Super Bowl recap. Man, that was rough, y'all. That was rough. That was nasty. That was ugly. That was all of the words above and then some. That was atrocious. Let me see if I can come up with some more synonyms. That was nasty. That was disgusting. That was vomitrocious. I don't even know if that's a real word, but you get the point, man. What did we just watch? What did we just watch, man? I thought we was gonna get a barn burner today, as I said earlier in my preview, and we got everything, but we got a complete annihilation and just a total demonstration of destruction and demolition. And man, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Another Super Bowl in the last few years. Nick Sirianni got over the hump. Jalen Hurts got over the hump. And, man, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I was going to originally wait till tomorrow to do this, a day after, to kind of collect my thoughts. But I was like, man, you know what? I thought about it. I thought this episode like this would be much better coming raw, fresh. Just my initial, just in the moment reactions after watching the game. Would serve the purpose of this, particular venture with you guys. And man, I'm just, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm pretty shocked. I'm pretty shocked, man. I'm pretty shocked. I didn't see this coming. I didn't see, not to say I didn't see Philadelphia winning. Obviously, they got here. They were more than capable of winning. But I thought we would get the usual, Super Bowl slobber knocker. Instead, I'm up here fighting PS, post-stress traumatic disorder from when I had to watch my Denver Broncos go up against Seattle Seahawks. This game felt a lot like that one, just completely one-sided, completely lopsided, and it was hard to watch. It was very hard to watch. But as I said, man, congratulations to Philadelphia. I'm going to start with them, my thoughts on them throughout this entire game, because they the champs, and you got to start with the victors, right? And right away, right off the bat, the obvious, that defense, man, that front four specifically, not the front seven, the front four. You heard me correctly, man. Those guys were coming all night long. They pretty much, to me, we know Jalen Hurts if you've been watching sports, and I got it on in the background. But obviously at this point, you know that Jalen Hurts won the MVP. But my MVP for the game is the defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles. They completely turned this game on its head from the first series that Kansas City got the football all the way up until, pretty much to where the game was out of hand. I mean, they pretty much built a 4-point lead. It was 34-0 at some point before Kansas City finally put something on the board. And it was just a regular, to me, what I've noticed, I'm going to go back and watch the film, but it looked like just a regular rush 4, drop 7 type of defense. And for whatever reason, the offensive line of Kansas City seemed to be overwhelmed by this, pressure. And you just had to give Philadelphia boys credit up front. They were clearly the best unit on the field, and it wasn't anybody specifically. It just seemed like everybody was in the backfield at a constant rate, man. It was almost as if sometimes it just looked like the lineman was just letting them through. They were getting back there so fast, and man, it was a complete annihilation. I don't know what else to say. Saquon, they did a good job. Kansas City did a pretty good job with Saquon. You would have thought that, if the game got out of hand, it would have been because they were controlling the ground game a lot, which they kind of, they did at times throughout the game. But for the most part, Saquon Barkley was pretty limited in this game, as I kind of figured he would be. With 2 weeks to prepare for, such a great player, usually that doesn't work in the favor of the player. So I have his numbers right here: 25 carries for 57 yards, 2.3 yards a carry for Saquon. Jalen Hurts got loose a little bit in the second half. But it was really the defense that stood out for me. The front four completely wrecked the game. for Kansas City. Any offense that they could get going was just demolished from the start. And you just had to get a Philadelphia, defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, who was 0-8 against Patrick Mahomes in his career, picked a great time to come out and get the proverbial monkey off his back as well. And it just led to Philadelphia having all of the momentum throughout the entire game and pretty much controlling it from start to finish. On the other side of the token, I gave Andy Reid a lot of credit today. I gave Patrick Mahomes a lot of credit today. And, when you give credit, you got to be fair with the criticism. And, boy, let me tell you, man, Andy Reid, I talked about you being the GOAT today. Potentially, if you pulled off this three-peat and being in that conversation, it's not to say you're not a great coach and you can't get back into that conversation, but I'm going to go ahead and say that let's pump the brakes on that conversation because you got out coached today. That hurts me to say that you got out coached today. The Kansas City offense looked ill prepared, to say the least, going up against the Philadelphia pass rush. And, once again, with 2 weeks to prepare, how could you not make an adjustment at any point in this game to combat that? Now, it's easy to say that after the fact. I understand that hindsight is 20/20, as the saying goes. But I just couldn't. It's not like this was the first time that Kansas City had ever faced any pressure. So where were the screen passes? Where was the quick passing game? Where was running the football? I understand that their running backs didn't do much better, but Kareem Hunt, 3 carries for 9 yards. Pacheco, 3 carries for 7 yards. The leading rusher was Patrick Mahomes with 4 carries for 25 yards. And he probably would have had a lot more if he wasn't busy back there, running backwards for negative yards and getting his head knocked off all night. I mean, good grief. But speaking of Patrick Mahomes, the one thing I said the Chiefs needed to do to win this game earlier, the one thing I just knew was a for sure thing, was that they were going to take care of the football, but they turned the ball over 4 times, 2 times in the first half, 2 picks, one of being a pick six that led to immediate score for Philadelphia, and another adrenaline rush of momentum, because that's not a real thing in sports, right? And another one to set up a late touchdown. It was 28-0 at half, 27-0 at half, and 2 of those touchdowns came from immediate, turnovers from the quarterback, and those weren't necessarily plays where he was under pressure. It just was bad fundamental decisions. What are you doing? This is the Super Bowl. You got to take care of the football. But that's what pressure will do to you. Patrick Mahomes looked like he was pressing, and I don't know if I've ever seen a game where Patrick Mahomes was rattled. He looked rattled. He looked like a rookie out there. That's how bad it was for this Kansas City offense. I don't even think they had 50 yards at half. They couldn't get the ball going. They couldn't get the ball rolling. They couldn't maintain any type of momentum, and that led to a complete domination in time of possession. I'm going to pull that up real quick because I want the exact numbers on that. I know it was lopsided, but I just want to see. that. I'm via ESPN.com. Let's see. Let's scroll down. Time of possession. The Eagles had the ball 36 minutes, and Kansas City had it 23 minutes. So there you have it. And anytime you have that type of imbalance going on, your defense is on the field too long, they're going to get tired. It's amazing that the Eagles only had a total of 345 yards, but it felt like they probably should have or could have had 600 yards with as often as they possessed the ball and had it. But, obviously they kind of throttled down in the second half because they didn't really need to score because they were up by so much. And Kansas City didn't get on the board till the third quarter. and they kind of got some, to be honest, they got some garbage time stats because I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes stats. You know, I forgot that he finished with 3 touchdowns and 257 yards, but most of those stats were irrelevant when the game was in the balance. He only had about 40 yards and 2 picks through the air. And I just didn't get what Andy Reid was trying to accomplish with the play calling and the strategy. Travis Kelsey, only 3 catches. I don't think he had quite enough targets. And where was the use of DeAndre Hopkins? Why did he only have a few targets? I understand he caught a few late passes as well, and he dropped a pretty big one. But you would think with all of the weaponry and adding Hollywood Brown from injury, you got Xavier Worthy, who balled out for the most part, 157 yards. But you got Hollywood Brown, you got Travis Kelsey, and you got, DeAndre Hopkins, who's probably a future Hall of Famer, along with Kelsey. You couldn't find a way to get the line to hold up so you can hit these guys with the quick passing game, and then try to or even leave, bring in Noah Gray, go big, go heavy a little bit, help out, and just run some intermediate routes just to get Patrick some time. And all those fellas, if he has enough time, he's a pretty decent scrambler. He can, he could have, extended some of these drives and some of these plays and put you in more manageable third down situations. As the Chiefs were another stat that killed them. They were 3rd and 11 on third down. As I say that, I look at Philadelphia, who wasn't much better, but I think a lot of that was in the second half. They just kind of, throttled down because they didn't need to do too much. And some of the penalties, the Chiefs, I didn't think we would have a lot of penalties. We had 15 penalties for over close to, 150 yards, 134 to be 134 to be exact. And so, it just was an all-around sloppy game by the Eagles, and not by the Eagles, by one stretch of the imaginations. God forgive me for saying that. That was a lie. But by the Kansas City Chiefs, and I hadn't listened to any Andy Reid's press conferences or Patrick Mahomes or any of the Chiefs players yet. I haven't seen them come to the podium quite yet, but I'll be interested to see. I have to know what the game plan was, because this did not look like a team who had made it to 2 straight Super Bowls and going for a third. This looked like a team who was playing in their first Super Bowl and just looked starstruck, looked like deer in the headlights type of stuff. And I just I'm completely baffled and utterly confused by what I just saw. And wow. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, the score was 24-0 at half. And Kansas City scored their first touchdown late in the third quarter. But they pretty much got outscored in every quarter, obviously, except for the fourth quarter. But that's what happens when you turn the football over. You turn the football over, you give the other team extra possessions, a team that's already kind of ball dominant and ball control oriented. You all even spotted the defense, a defensive touchdown. And you just can't do that in a game like this, specifically in the NFL where the stakes are so high. You got to take care of the football, and you have to take what the defense gives you, or else this is what's going to happen. If you don't possess the football and you're constantly giving it to the other team, they're going to run the score up on you, and that's what happened. The Chiefs' defense did play pretty bad. I feel kind of bad for them because it looks like they gave up 40 points, but a lot of it is due to they just were put in bad spots all night long. The Philadelphia Eagles never faced any type of pressure in this game. They never faced any type of adversity in this game. It was theirs to win. Seemed like from the opening kickoff. They did go 3 out on the first drive, so not quite the opening kickoff, but pretty much after the Chiefs got off the field, it was all Philadelphia. It was a one-sided Super Bowl, a one-sided Super Bowl. But that's what they say: defense wins championships. Not to beat a dead horse, but you got to give Philadelphia's defense credit. You got to wonder what Andy Reid's game plan was and what they were thinking. The second half, no adjustments. Usually, you look to see a team come out. They got the kickoff in the second half, and it was more of the same. Patrick Mahomes getting his head knocked off. Offensive linemen looking dazed and confused in Philadelphia, doing whatever the heck they wanted to do. As if they was out there playing against, they scout team or something like that. You know, but it is what it is. That's sports. That's why we watch the game to see what happens. And sometimes the unthinkable, perceivable happens. And I dare somebody to tell me they saw this type of game playing out. You might have had Philly winning. You might have had the Chiefs going down. But you can't tell me you had them going down like this. I mean, the Chiefs, they stunk. They stunk bad. They stunk bad, man. They stunk like a piece of yellow cheese. They were raunchy out there, man. It was awful. It was awful. It was awful. The Eagles smacked them. But I'm not gonna rant too much tonight. I at the end of the day, you win some, you lose some. Kansas City, don't hang your head too much. Hang it tonight. Definitely hang it tonight. You need to do that. You need to think about what you did. But come back next year and see what you can do. Make the adjustments you need. Obviously, I'm looking at that offensive line. There's definitely gonna be some changes in the offseason on that, or the coach or somebody head gonna be had for this. That's just the way it works. When you get thrashed like that, it's gonna be some changes. So I expect to see Andy Reid and his staff and playing personnel look a little bit different next year. Not too different, but a little bit different next year. And Philadelphia, man, congratulations, you did it. And let's see what kind of energy you come back with next year. Let's see if you can have that eye of the tiger. Let's see if you can come back hungry and see if you can come back and do it again. Because you can't just win one. That's the way I look at it. When you get a taste of one, man, you gotta come back and back that up, or at least make the playoffs, man. So it'll be interesting to see how hungry and how success changes or molds Philadelphia, and see if they can go on a mini little run. Because from what I can tell and what I've heard, they shouldn't be losing too many people in the offseason. They will be losing. Most likely the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, as mentioned earlier as well, he's suspected to be hired by the New Orleans Saints. But outside of that, I don't think the personnel, at least the core players, should change too much. So Philadelphia, if I had to guess, they should be right back in the thick of things next year. Of course, everybody's going to try to get better. Everybody's going to be gunning for them. But from a personnel standpoint, they should be able to, make things interesting next year. Well, that's all I really got for tonight. I just wanted to do a little instant reaction analysis. This was more of an emotional take, if anything. I'm gonna try to come back sometime in a week and put a bow on this interesting NFL season we had. Although the game was pretty trash at the end, the commercials was pretty trash. Let me just review the Super Bowl in general. The game was bad. The commercials bad, and I don't really watch the halftime show. But from what I could tell, and from what I heard from family members and friends who were watching the game with me, the halftime show was pretty trash too. So all in all, if I had to rate this Super Bowl on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it a 1.5. It was awful, and man, NFL still made their money, so I know they ain't tripping. But the product was pretty crappy today, to say the least. But you can't predict how that stuff gonna turn out sometimes, man. So all you conspiracy theories out there, the Chiefs this, the Chiefs that, I don't hear nobody complaining about no flags tonight. That's for sure. No rigged games or nothing. It's silent on that end because y'all got what y'all wanted. The empire has fallen, and for now, and the majority of the NFL's fan base, I'm pretty sure is pretty happy about that. And so once again, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank y'all for chilling with me tonight again. I'm gonna holler at y'all next time. Peace.